So, finally, we finish our second book, right? After we finish our second book, are you sure you did the right thing? So, again, accounting. All the numbers you got, 1 is $1, 2 is $2, 3 is $3, all about monies. So that's why we have to be very, very, very careful. So after you finish accounting 2 books, after you record all the transactions we have to double check whether you did the right thing or not, right? So please go to your slide on page 70. We need to do a big double check. So the tool we use is trial balance 试算表. So trial balance 试算表, we use that to double check all of transactions records we have are correct or not. Okay, so after we finish 2 books, we need to double check using trial balance 试算表. So do you know how often we double check? How often? Not every day, not every minute, right? Like what? When you have a quiz, when you have a midterm exam, usually when you double check your answers. After you finish the whole papers, right? You still have some time. You will double check whether the answers on your quiz, on your midterm exams are correct, right? So we don't double check every time. We will double check after we finish some projects, some things, right? So we only double check well at the given time. Usually the given time is when? Last day, okay? So after we finish all things, we will double check it on the last minute, last date. So we will double check it at the end of the counting period. At the end of the counting period means on the last date. Maybe last day of each month, last day of each quarter, or last day of each year. Okay, so remember, we don't double check any time because impossible we do that. We will double check it on the last day, which means we will prepare trial balance 试算表 on the last day to make sure we got the correct numbers. Okay? Then how to double check it? Remember, total debit equal to total credit. Total debit equal to total credit. Remember when we've mentioned this one? Total debit equal to total credit. We talk about this on, you can go to your slide on page 13. Page 13. Remember? Double entry system, 复式簿记. We mentioned this is accounting rules. We use it to double check. So what's the first rule? Remember, debit is the left, credit is the right. This is the only meaning. Debit is left, credit is right. Second one, remember, for each transaction, we have one debit, one credit. So you have one left hand, one right hand, right? So don't forget, at least we have one debit, one credit. Third one, remember? Debits equal to credits. Left hand equal to right hand. The amount you have on your left should equal to the amount you have on the right, right? That will make all the numbers balance. So debits equal to credits. Okay, so double entry system told you this is how we could double check all the numbers. Maybe you got the correct numbers. Okay, so on your slide, page 13, double entry system. So on your slide, PPT, page 13, double entry system. 入室簿记。Okay, so we use trial balance to make sure maybe we got the correct number, maybe you did the right thing, okay? Trial balance 试算表. Then how to make sure? Look at whether you got total debit equal to total credit. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay. So what we've done for chapter 2, remember? So far we've done first book journal, right? So write down all transactions on our first accounting book journal based on date. Okay? So the activity we mentioned is journalized. 做分录 journalized. Then posting 过账 transfer the data from first book journal to second book ledger, right? Based on accounts, right? Cash, accounts receivable, accounts payable, service revenue, so on. Because we want to answer managers' questions anytime. So that's why we need our second book. Okay? After that, we've done first book, second book. We've recorded 10 transactions we have. Then, what's the next? We need to double check whether we got the correct number, okay? So how to double check? Look at your second book. We have cash, right? So for your second book, first page, you have a cash, right? So you just copied the cash, this account, to your trial balance, okay? And look at the final amount balance. So cash, I have the final amount balance on which side? Debit side, right? So just copy it to trial balance on debit side. So remember, always we have a debit credit, right? So you put a number on debit side or credit side. For cash, we have a what? We have the balance on debit side. So we just copy the number to debit column, debit side. What's the next? Next is our equipment, right? So you just copy, write down equipment this account. You have the balance on which side? Debit side, right? So you just copy the number to debit column, debit column. Okay, then what's the next? Accounts payable, right? So I just write down accounts payable on my trial balance. Accounts payable have the balance on credit side, right? So I just copy the balance on credit side. What's your last one? Service revenue. So for service revenue, I write down this account on trial balance, service revenue. Service revenue have the balance on credit side. So I just copy the number on credit side, okay? So all the numbers after you copy it to your trial balance. How to double check it? Total debit equal to total credit. So you add up all the numbers on debit column. You add up all the numbers on credit column. So you can double check whether you got the correct numbers. Okay. So total debit equal to total credit. This is how we double check it, okay? So total debit equal to total credit. Maybe you did the right thing, okay? So after trial balance, be careful. Case 1, maybe your debits, total debits. If you find out total debits not equal to total credits, so means what? You did something wrong. Okay, so you must be wrong. So please go back to double check where you did the wrong thing. Okay, so must be wrong, must be incorrect. Okay, so if you are lucky, you find out case 2, total debits equal to total credits. Then maybe, okay, nothing is 100%. So maybe you are correct. Maybe you are correct. Okay? So after you prepare trial balance, look at total debit and total credit, whether they are correct or not. If they are not the same, go back to double check where you did the right thing. Okay? If they are the same, then maybe you are correct. Okay? So please go to your page 13 on your note. So we want to double check whether we did the right thing or not. So on your page 13, this is our trial balance. We did it on October 31st. Did you find out last date? We did it on last day to double check. So trial balance, we use it to double check. Okay, so you put account and don't forget we have always debit credit. So just copy the balance from your second book. Okay, copy your balance from second book and double check whether you did the right thing or not. Okay, if you're done, let me check. You can go home.